In Tasmania, three things that were learned out of that state election which took place last night. Number one, and most obviously, it's bloody hard to get a majority. This is despite the fact that the Liberal Party lapped the field last night. The statewide vote of the Liberal Party is 49% in Tasmania. The opposition parties, the best they can come up with is 28% for the Labor Party, and the Greens are way back at 12%. Hence why Peter Gutwein is still hopeful of a majority. There was no counting today because, of course, who cares who runs the state? You have to find that out tomorrow.
And whilst we have won this election convincingly, it appears increasingly likely that we will also govern in majority.
But there was a disgraceful story which came out of Peter Gutwein's office. After the polls had closed, he said that he would resign as Premier if he didn't get that 13th seat. Are you kidding me? So literally, you have gone through an entire election campaign where, 49% of the state have said that they want you to be the Premier, but unless you get an absolute majority, they're going to get a mystery box as the next potential leader of Tasmania? That's outrageous. Play the hand that you're dealt. No matter how unfair it is, if you want to change the system, feel free to pass a law. It's not like you're powerless to do so as the government. The second thing, there's a bit of hope for the Liberals when it comes to a federal result. Now, you can't automatically say state politics equals federal politics. If that's the case, then the government will fall based off the West Australian vote alone, and they'd probably be in trouble around places like the Sunshine Coast. But there are three seats that mirror the federal seats of Bass, Braddon and Lyons. Now, Bass and Braddon have basically flipped every 3 years for the past, more than a decade. Liberals are at 60%, in Braddon 57%, and in the seat of Lyons, where they could pick up a seat from the Labor Party, they are currently leading at 51% of the vote. And another thing we learnt, that I think we already knew, but it's always good to be reminded, that the Greens love a speech. They can talk and talk and talk. This was a person who had got 12% of the vote with a 20-minute long rant on telly last night.
Our once pristine marine waters are being privatised and filled with fish shit, chemicals and marine debris by a rapacious industry that wants to double in size over the next 10 years. Not on our watch.
This was a longer speech than remember when Rob Oakeshott took 17 minutes to tell us who he was going to back to become the government in 2010. Same result. Speaking about, what was that other word? Fish, and then, anyway.